quality that it germinated in the fridge, and I had to quickly run and take what looked like bean sprouts, you know, like you get at the Chinese restaurant, and put them all in here, and that's why they're all curved and kind of weird. But you know, I did manage to save them, and I was happy about that. I plant my seeds in the finest of the granular soils, and I'll show you exactly why I do that.
What variety is it?
This is just the green Japanese maple, just the regular one. So the reason why I do that.
Wow.
It's hard, eh? And so the thing is, I didn't lose a single branch. I didn't lose a single rootlet, and I can totally see what I've got.
How long have you been in the soil?
Pardon me? So that was a whole year. Yeah, so a whole year of growing in that soil. And so you can see here's my little Japanese maple seedling. And so with Japanese maples, you want to have a flat root system because you're going to put it in a shallow pot. So what you need to do is figure out, okay, well, where are the best roots coming out of this tree? And so they seem to be down at this level. Down here. It's pretty good. And then what I want to do is I want to cut the taproot off. So right there. And then just shorten the extra long parts of it. And then there I have my seedling that's been started for bonsai. And I prepared a pot, and everyone knows how to secure a tree in a pot when you only have one hole.
No.
So what you do is you take a little piece of wire, and you take the wire that you're going to tie it down with, you put it around, and then you pull it through the holes, and then you have the ability to tie the tree in.
Or drill 2 holes.
Huh?
Drill 2 extra holes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So next. So you always put in, if you're going to nose, you have to put in a drainage layer. So you use kind of your thicker, your bigger soils, and then you get out your bonsai soil. Just like so. And when I'm potting a new one, what I'm doing is I make a bit of a volcano up at the top, and usually I have a chopstick, but I don't have a chopstick with me. So I take this and I put it down on top of that spot, and then I start kind of combing the roots out. And I want the roots to be going out kind of like spokes in a wheel. And I don't want them kind of curling into the tree or anything like that. And if you find that some of them don't want to behave and go in the direction you want, you can just put a little bit of soil down. Just kind of mat it down. Like so. And then I don't need to do too much. I just want to kind of hold this tree in the soil. I can do more later as the tree starts growing. So now I have all my roots kind of set. I fill it all up. And so the reason why you kind of make that little volcano is you kind of want the roots to look like they're grabbing the soil. So when you're starting with a seedling, you make sure that it does that. And when you're doing a cutting, when you first pull the cutting out of the soil mix you struck it in, you do exactly the same thing. And you're constantly, with the Japanese maples, constantly setting it up so that it has that nice radial root system.
Did you grow them under grow lights? And then what did you do for the winter kind of dormant
Oh.
year, time?
Okay, so I did my stratification and I planned my days so that it hits right around May 24th, around the time when everyone plants their tomatoes, maybe a little bit sooner. So you know, you can go on the internet, you can plan the days back. And then I put the seeds in, I put them in full sun, and I wait until they start to germinate. And then with Japanese maples, I actually put these all in pretty much full shade for the entire year.
So outdoors?
Outdoors, yeah, everything outdoors. And then in the fall, it dropped its leaves. I put it in my garage, and now I'm pulling them out, and
So
it's
you winterize
time to go.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
They have leaves on the refrigerator.
yeah. They were. Pardon me?
When were they in the refrigerator?
Okay, so when you do the cold
That's the fridge in the
stratification,
garage,
you
right?
put them in the refrigerator. You put the seeds in the refrigerator. Yeah.
And how long do they take to germinate?
Well, like I said, if it's
After
germinating 3 weeks to a month. Yeah. Maybe sooner. Maybe sooner. It depends.
You put sand together, or you just put a seed?
I take with the seeds, they you can orient them so that you know that the root is the top root's going to go straight down. So you orient them that way. So you're there with tweezers, planting them perfectly. And there's so much to growing trees from seed, but it's in a fairly shallow pot. And the purpose of that is that when the taproot goes down and hits the bottom of the pot, it goes, oh, I need lateral shoots. So it starts shooting lateral roots around the top of the tree, which is what you want. If you put it in a really deep pot, you just get like a huge long taproot, and you may not get any side roots. That makes sense? Okay, these cultivars don't grow from cuttings at all, but other ones do grow really well. I think personally, my favorite way of growing a Japanese maple is going and buying one, and then air layering it. And like Japanese maples just air layer so beautifully. This double trunk is just an air layer that I grew. And
Can you explain that?
pardon me?
Air layer?
Oh, you don't know what an air layer is? Okay, so very simple. Simply, you have a trunk like this, okay? And you say, all right, I want to air layer it here. This is where I want the roots to start, right here. So what I do is I cut a strip of bark right off, all the way around the tree. I gurgle it, and I have to scrape the green stuff off, which is the cambium layer. And then when I'm done, I put rooting hormone along the top part, and then I put wet sphagnum peat moss all around it. And then I encircle it in a bag and tie it tight, and it's wet. And then what happens is the tree is going, oh, I got nutrients coming down here. It goes, oh, darn, I got no roots. Even though in the center of the tree, the water's still coming up, it says, oh, I need to grow roots, so it starts growing roots. Japanese maples, it's so easy to do that with. And this is an air layer, and that's an air layer. This one here is an air layer. What I've been doing is I've been buying these cultivars, and typically they all have kind of bad grafts or bad roots or something like that. But finding the cultivar is hard. Doing an air layer off it later on is easy.
Air layering springtime probably? Or
Yeah, in spring all the way up till June.
This time of the year.
No, not this time of year.
Yeah. So that's air layering. Then the other way is using nursery material. So one of the gentlemen here was asking me about where he can get nursery material. So where I've been going for years is Vineland Nurseries. So has anyone ever heard of Vineland Winery? Same area. And they specialize in not only Japanese maples, but all kinds of dwarf types of plants. And I have acquired basically all of my varieties of Japanese maples from them. And yeah, so I highly recommend if you're looking for specific varieties. Another good place is Plant World. Plant World. They have a lot of different varieties of Japanese maples. But there's other ones like Shishigashira, the ones that are more regular. You can buy those at Canadian Tire in the springtime. So it's, you know, the challenge with bonsai here, because we don't have a lot of bonsai nurseries, in fact, I don't think we have any, is just trying to find material.
Vineland, the nursery is off Victoria, is it not?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, not far from the, there's that little paintbrush. Right there. It was right there. The soil was not porous enough, and it started to get a little too wet. So really, all I need to do is kind of a very light kind of pruning of the roots here. You always want to make sure you cut the bottom. And if I was to show you this tree, you would find that it's actually even shaved. And I use a little planer, and I plane the bottom of the tree in order to make it as flat as possible. And if you look at some of those magazines, you'll see how the Japanese masters do that. And there's no other way to get these trees into a really, really shallow pot.
So how you protect wood from rotting if you plane it?
Well, it seals itself. Yeah.
What happens, it creates more roots, right? To make a callus.
Yeah. Yeah, it calluses right over.
So
And after a while, you don't
it's
even
not
get
a
roots
problem.
down there.
It's not.
No.
So anytime you're repotting a Japanese maple, you bare root it?
Typically, I do, yeah. The main reason for that is it's just to wash off all the old soil, because I don't know, it just gets so caked. And also, you want to be able to dig in there and make sure that there's air pockets, because what happens is the roots can get so dense that the water stops penetrating. This root here, see this root here, it's kind of crossing over the other ones, so I'm gonna take that off.
Every how many years do you repot?
So if it's a really young tree, maybe every year, or if it's a shonen, maybe every year. But as my trees get older, every 2-3 years, something like that. It kind of depends, right? Everything with bonsai seems to be, it kind of depends. If you just apply some kind of formula to it, you're not always going to get it right.
Yeah.
Have you had any experience with those full moon maples?
You know what, I don't. I've never grown any. But I've seen a lot of really nice ones in magazines and so on. The leaves are bigger, right? So, you know,
Bigger size.
you have to have a bigger tree. Yeah.
So, in one of the books I read that people.
I haven't, but in some of the magazines I've seen it, that they do that. So
I think it would be better reaction with maples than with pines.
I think so, but what I find, David, is that with Japanese maples, that it has such a fibrous root system that you almost always get a good root system. I think with pines, it's a totally different story, or you know, something like a spruce.
I think there's a question.
Yes.